Right, here we have the SJCam5000xElite version. Now this could be interesting because it's got the Sony gyro stabilized sensor similar to the one in the Git 2. Usual kind of features like single shot burst mode, 4K interpolated 2K, 60 frames a second at 1080, 120 frames a second at 720, 60 frames a second at 1080, loop recording for car use, and so on and so on. Right, let's see what's in the box. Right, well the first thing you've got to do is get the camera out of the case. Now that is achieved by sliding this little catch over here with your fingernail. Get another nail underneath that bit, safety catch there. Pop that up. And out she comes. Right, on the front here you've got this 170-degree wide angle lens. A feature of this is you can actually set it to 4 different angles of view, but more on that later. You've got the power on and off button. On this particular model it's just a short press and it comes on, and a slightly longer press to turn it off. On this end you've got the micro USB slot, you've got the USB charging socket, which is the same as the HTC phones and so on and so on, and you've got the HDMI out so that you can play your videos on TV. On the back here you've got a 2-inch screen. On the top the shutter button. On this end you've got 2 buttons for scrolling up and down through the menu options, and the button to fire up the onboard Wi-Fi, which lets you connect to appropriate apps that you can use on your tablet or smartphone. This end here we've got the battery socket, which again is a bit tricky on SJCams because you've got to slide this little safety catch over, hold it, and then get that up. And the only way I've managed to do it is using a pin. It's quite tricky. If you use a pin you can get the thing out. If I remember correctly, all the SJCams are like this. Then you've got a little tab to pull the battery out, which if I remember correctly is the same as GoPro batteries. Right, that's easy enough. You know which way it goes in because it's got 3 little contacts, but mine was supplied with a battery in anyway. I mentioned the micro card slot. Of course it doesn't come with a card. I'm using Samsung Class 10 32 gig. There's a link below my video for that as well. Will take up to 128 gig, so it says on the box. The way the card goes in, there's a little icon there which shows you which way round it goes, but it's a question of slip it in, logo side towards the back, push it in with your nail. Right, operation of the camera, a bit easier than some I've tested lately. As I say, you've got the on-off button here, turn it on, press. First thing you'll see is you've got this bright blue light on the front here, and you've got a blue light on the top. It's fired up in video mode. As you can see, it's got the usual symbols across the top here. Loop recording is off, microphone is on, battery is full. Recording time I have at 1080 60p, date time, which is wrong on there I think because I haven't set it yet. The angle of view that I'm set at, which is 170, that's the wide setting, and the time. Now if I press the shutter button, you can see it's starting to record. I've got a blue light flashing there, and I've got a very vivid blue light flashing on the front, so you certainly know when you're recording. Press the button again, turn it off. That little hand symbol there that's shaking shows that I've actually got the gyro sensor turned on, the gyro stabilisation. Right, one short press of the power button on the front, you're in camera mode, and obviously press the shutter, you've taken a still. Another short press of the button on the front and you're into the settings menu. you've got TV out, on or off, video lapse, on or off, photo lapse, which is periodic photographs, playback, which is obvious, playback the videos you've made, and the settings menu. Right, so let's look through the settings menu. Obviously video resolution, press the button to scroll down to resolution and you can go through your various video resolutions. I carry out these tests at 1080 60 frames a second. So loop recording for car, field of view, which as I mentioned you can change, although I suspect all you're doing is using a smaller portion of the CMOS, so you will lose quality. Wide dynamic range, gyro sensor on or off, motion detector, audio, date stamp on or off, TV out, TV mode, whether it's PAL or NTC, on-screen display on or off, slow motion, image size for stills, quality, fine, sharp, I just use medium all the time, sharpness, I just use normal, white balance, auto, colour, normal, ISO, which is speed, film speed, EV, exposure value, RAW, if you want to take photographs in RAW mode. I don't know what underwater mode is. Hopefully by the time I get further through this review I will find out. Burst mode will take several still photographs with one press of the shutter. Dashcam mode, which will be for loop recording, license number, date, time, setting, keypad tone, light set. Ah, that's interesting. As with the Git 2, you can actually change which lights are on or off. Screensaver will be powers down. Some of the first videos I did had a little SJCam icon on the front. You can actually turn that off, of course, or probably add your own. Whichever language, the Wi-Fi password, which you connect with the app on your phone or tablet. This is the standard one, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Delete must be to delete pictures, format the cards, default setting, and the firmware version, which is very up to date on this, December the 11th 2015. Right, short press of the button on the front, I'm out of that. Okay, so once you're back at this point, to actually start recording videos again, you've got to choose video photo in the menu and then press the shutter button, which I found a bit confusing too, but then again I've looked at a lot of cameras lately. Okay, so let's see what accessories you get with this. Mentioned the waterproof case, which looks nicely made, and how you open and close it with that little tricky catch. Actually comes with a spare back, which is ventilated, which also will help sound come in if you actually want to get sound through. Quite a few of these cameras steam up when you're using them outside in the cold. To change the back, it's just a question of pushing that pin through and sliding the other one in. Two of these mounts for sliding the mounts into. One flat, and I'm pleased to say there's one here that's got a curve to it, which is suitable for helmets. You've got spare sticky pads for the mounts. You've got a handlebar mount. The way you mount is slide these in, put the thumb screw in, connect the camera whichever way you want, various brackets, whether you want it handlebar or whatever, but that's pretty obvious. Two or three of these little standoffs of different sizes. This one's got a 1/4 inch screw mount in the end, so you could actually mount it on a tripod. Another little mount that actually screws into a tripod mount. Lens cleaning cloth. Two straps, because these mounts, apart from being stuck on, can be fixed with a strap, like so. A skeleton mount. Now I find these the most useful of all because I paraglide. It's got a clip on it here, quite firm, and also a 1/4 inch screw mount, so you could put this on a tripod as well. But when I paraglide, what I do is, because I wear a full face helmet, I clip that to the chin guard of my full face helmet, and the camera just slips in like so. Skeleton case with a backpack clip, very handy. Another one of these mounts that slides in, like I say, once the camera's attached. It's just a question of sliding that into the mount. And two lovely SJCam stickers. Lens cap, which I think is very important for these little types of cameras because the lenses are convex. And the manual, which comes in many languages, of course. Mentions the accessories. Battery life, they say about 80 minutes. Charge time about 3 hours. Optional accessories include car charger, spare batteries, a charger, TV line, car bracket, which is a suction type so that you could mount it on a windscreen, HDMI line, and AV line if you want to use it for FPV flying, so that it would feed to a transmitter and give you FPV. Looks a pretty good little manual, although mostly with these things you have to work them out, you work it out a lot yourself. Right, I mentioned the Wi-Fi, if I can stop this shaking about. On the side of the box you've got a Q code, I think they call it. If you've got a barcode scanner, you can just scan that. Open. Open with Play Store. And you can install the SJCam Zone app. Install. That works for iOS or Android phones and tablets. I'll let that install and come back to that in a minute. Okay, having installed the SJCam app, I'll come out of that. Go into settings, Wi-Fi. Short press of the button on the side here. Wi-Fi symbol is on, which means that this should be looking for the Wi-Fi. I'll look again. SJ, click on it, password 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8. Connect. And it's now connected to the camera. So if I come out of that, go into my apps here, SJCam, connect to your camera. As you can see, the camera is now sending by Wi-Fi whatever I'm looking at, and if you look at the app you can start recording. Here you've got tools for settings menu, you can play back videos and so on and so on. I won't go into detail, but just to show you, there you go. Look, if I press start, oh I'm in camera mode, if I press start, that's more like it. If I press start, as you can see, I've remotely started the camera recording, and likewise, probably because they're too close to each other, if I press stop, I've stopped it recording. Could be very useful if you're out and about somewhere doing an action sport and you want to look at your videos, because you can also go through and download videos and look at them on your phone and so on. But play with that and you'll find out how it works. Now inevitably, because this is a gyro stabilised SJCam with very similar features to the GitUp Git 2, a lot of people are going to compare it. They are similar in size. The Git 2 is a bit slimmer, the weight's similar, features are similar, and from what I've seen with first results, the colour and the quality of the video is very similar too, so you pays your money and you takes your choice really. Similar price to around the £100 mark at the moment in the UK, $150 shall we say. Menu system's a bit easier to operate on the SJCam. Screen's a bit bigger on the SJCam, but All in all, very similar spec. They both use a Sony CMOS, although slightly different one. But from what I've seen so far, the image quality, the colours and the sharpness look very similar. So it's a good potential rival for the Git 2. Getting back to the camera, at the end of this there are some test clips. Might get a chance to do some motorcycling, but we've gone from very wet to very cold now. And there's also a test clip pairing the gyro action of this with the gyro action of the Git 2. I think colours compared well with the Git 2. The sharpness is very good. All in all, a very similar quality camera from SJCam. Right, let's get that lens cap on and get out and make some more test video. Just seeing how good the detail is in the houses in Brixton. Same shot, 1080/60, gyro on. Right, the sun's gone into shadow now. Let's see how this comes out. And into the light. And this is with the field of view at 170 degrees. This is with the field of view set at 140 degrees. This is with the field of view set at 110. Field of view 070 degrees. Git 2, SJ5000, both with the gyro on at 1080, 60 frames a second. Right, this is kind of normal walking along with a little bounce. This is wobbly walking, wobble wobble. This is severe shaking. This is fast panning. This is panning with a wobble. A bit more wobbly walking. And good, the sun's coming out again. And let's see what the difference is in field of view and the detail looking over there towards Sharkham. Okay, one last little violent wobble, very violent wobble and shake at the same time. And that's about it, I think.